It's good, don't worry about it. Just keep going.
Hello, my name is Iridian Jimenez.
I'm Spiro Bezdakis.
I'm Bianca Mendoza.
And I'm Jasmine Hernandez. And today my colleagues and I will be talking about the logarithmic function, which is f of x log 2x. The important coordinates in the graph are listed here. Our x values are 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, 2, 4, 8, and 16, and our y values are -1, -2, -3, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And as you can tell, our points are almost touching the y-axis, but they don't.
All right, so x and y intercepts. So what are what are the intercepts? Intercept. So the x-intercept is wherever the function crosses over the x-axis, and the y-intercept is wherever it crosses over the y-axis. So we will be focusing on this bottom red line. So our x-axis would be 1 and 0, because you can see that's where the red line crosses the x-axis. And for the y-intercept, the axis will be 0, 1, which is, oh, I'm sorry, that's the blue line. It would be none, because the y-axis is actually an asymptote, which means this red line will never touch the y-axis. So there's no y-axis.
So the domain and range. Every graph is read from the left to right. So the domain are always the x's, which for our graph it was 0, infinity. And the y values are which were negative infinity and positive infinity for our graph.
So I'm going to be talking about end behavior and symmetry. So the end behavior is f of x equals positive infinity as positive infinity. And there are no symmetries for this graph.
All right. Decreases over the intervals. So
our graph increases from 0 to pi, and it does not decrease, as you could tell in the previous slide where we graphed it on Desmos.
all right, so positive and negative over the intervals. So we have positive and negative has to do with the x-axis, what's above it and below. So, or also on the y-axis, what's positive and what's negative. So as you can see, the red line increases from 0 to positive infinity on the it's above the x-axis, and from the x-axis below would be 0 and negative infinity.
So the inverse function an inverse function is a function that is reversed from another function. So our original function would be the red line. So if it's inverse, it would be the blue line. So the real world example that we thought was 1 in 800 dies each year due to diseases caused by smoking. And the equation would be log 10 parentheses 800 equals to 2.9.
So the transformations. For fx plus k, the k, when it is positive, it increases up to the y-axis, and when the k is negative, it decreases down to the x-axis, below the x-axis. When it's kf of x, when it's positive k, the curve gets wider, and when it's negative k, the curve flips over along the x-axis.
All right, so when the function is f of k times x, the positive k means the curve will be wider, and the negative k causes it to reflect or switch to the negative axis.
So when it's f and parentheses x plus k, when it's positive, the curve goes wider and crosses over the negative x-axis, and when it's negative k, the curve gets smaller and it closes up.
Thank you.